Hi everyone, I'm Sisi, a PhD student at the University of Regina. I'm very glad to participate in writing passages on the print post book. Next, I will read the passages I wrote. The works of Nishigani and Lady Patch activate the links between language, memory, and colonialism. Gani's thoughts on language were largely based on her disconnection from her mother tongue, Urdu. Due to the societal pressure to speak English in the name of eloquence or status growing up in Lahore, Patch was largely inspired by Ghani's anxiety and made her work using the illegibility of text as a starting point. Their focus is not only on the erosion of Urdu by English, but also on the identity and anxiety resulting from this invisible violence, also called language imperialism. Ghani's work, Is This My Language?, is based on the hesitation she felt due to her estrangement from Urdu, her mother tongue. English was promoted in colonial countries through cultural and educational means, which had a devastating effect on local languages. Ghani's uses tea-telling in her work, a key aspect of Mongol miniature painting, which she employed in order to mimic the visual characteristics of an old, aged manuscript. As such, the faded yellowed surfaces express the fact that Urdu has always been in her memory. She was able to communicate fluently in Urdu, growing up in a post-colonial country. However, Ghani studied in a Catholic school where they were reprimanded for speaking Urdu. Ghani stated, "Now, as an adult, Urdu has become an alien language to me, a part of my identity from which I feel completely disconnected. Urdu uses to be a familiar language for her, but due to her English education, it has become unfamiliar, which has caused her to feel anxious and conflicted about her identity." The flowers on the right side of the work were a part of a worksheet from her days in kindergarten, which she transformed onto the paper. In class, students were free to color in the flowers however they chose, which meant that each worksheet ended up reflecting each student's personality. Ghani wanted this print to have just the outlines of the flowers, to emphasize that although these are things exacted from her personal belongings and memories, it no longer feels like her own. One of the texts in the work is a transfer from Ghani's kindergarten practice book where she had to write the Urdu alphabet. The other lines of text are taken from a writing workbook. When put together, the individual alphabets read Dia e Milizeba, which translates to Is this my language? Juxtaposing the two visuals, she wanted the viewers to feel the same distance and lack of connection she felt from Urdu. Invariable, Page originally wanted to create this work in responses to ongoing conversations with Ghani concerning the anxieties of language formation under societal pressure. Facing the infallibility of language in general, Patch sought to express the arduous transformation of thought into word, a visualization of the intangible construction of spoken word. In Patch's work, the layering technique of compressed, entangled word existing as a translation of thought of external vibration through the thread of matter and air. Hence, Patch chose the title verbal. Its unusually curved yet heavy consonant sound giving a grounding to human voice. She wanted to accentuate the physical movement of sound akin to a chorus of books of birds and people coexisting in time, memory, and thought. Verbal soul enact on soundscape of overlapping noise found in highly populated spaces. This work hopes to express the universality of internal thought existing unspoken in blocks of darkness, picked out and untangled from the impulsive mind. In this way, Patch hopes to bring together symbols spoken in air and a symbol compressed onto the heaviness of the etching plant, with a tension of simultaneous lightness and heaviness. She hopes for this piece to embody a visual recognition of the unknown, tapping into the depths of the human subconscious. In this project, Zaidi and He worked together on questions of translation, visualizing an element from words taken from both Urdu and Mandarin poetry about love and Sufism. Exploring visualization of text, the artist sought to break the shackles of discourse as power in order to realize cross-linguistic cultural sharing. This work is based on their continuous discussions on Zoom, dividing the Sufi poems, a lover letter of many cliches until they are no longer just cliches into many subsections and translating them into Chinese and English in a Google document. After each subsection of poetry are their diary entries. These works were inspired by the widespread use of English as a colonial heritage by people in non-English speaking countries. He's work 绝对有错误翻译的情书 a love letter that must have been mistranslated in part in a video collage of awkwardly translated Sufi poetry with mode, scrapbookled diary entries with the consent of Zaidi. He remixed both of their print imageries into mutating countries, concealed in disguises, blocking the always two-legged word. The language are added to abstract colors and do not speak the language of representation. He uses this visual language to express the sentiment that love is quality that cannot be translated. Unlike her work, Zandi's print, Celebration of Love, believes that love is a universal language. According to Zandi, the manuscript and phonetics of language vary across the globe, but share ideas and visual elements. This is commonalities. Ideas have the power of transformation the world. His work is linocut print of a traditional Mongol style. Veranda, the main body of the print is comprised of black and white buildings and bright flowers surrounded by poems about love. The images of lotus flower in the print is representative of Sufi teachings found in the poems of Amir, Khusro, and Ghalib. In Chinese culture, the lotus flower is also related to religions, love, and fertility. In the print, a section of lotus root is separated, since a canine fiber remains. Relations are not entirely severed. This characteristic is often reminiscent of entangled love. The illustrations of the quaternary garden running through the flower of this structure are all prizes to love. The two works reflect cross-cultural language research from and through the theme of love. He expresses the complexity of love through glitches, status failed to be referenced quotation, and mistranslation in the video. Zaidi combines Sufi poetry translated into Chinese with visual images and used the form of print to express multilingualism and interculturality of languages. Its organization, formation, and expression all represent unique cultural systems. However, due to historical entanglement and cultural mixing, the inner meanings of different languages sometimes interoperable, perhaps making space for love.